Please welcome to the stage Lattice CEO, Sarah Franklin.
Come on. Fun music for the morning to get the energy going. Thank you so much for being here today and being here at BAFTA. I'm told this is such an incredible location, and I feel honored to be here with all of you today. We're here for an important conversation and an important time to be together as we talked about people plus AI succeeding together. So Lattiverse is an incredible event. This is actually our second annual Lattiverse event that we're having. And it's a time for all of you to be together, to learn, to connect, to have fun, and give back. And we have over 10,000 people that have joined us between last week we were in San Francisco, and today we're here in London. I've actually been in London for about a week now, and so I'm acclimated. I'm not going to fall asleep on stage because I came from San Francisco. And we have incredible speakers joining us for sessions, so we can learn from each other, and thanks to our sponsor, Greenhouse. And we also have part of the conversation today, Isabel Berwick, the working editor for Financial Times. So it's going to be a great conversation. And as I mentioned, we're going to learn, connect, have fun, and give back. And we also, for the giving back, it's a very important thing. Part of Lattice, is part of our culture to make sure that we are not just building great products together and helping you succeed, but also giving back to our communities. And the organization that we're working with here in London is SmartWorks. They help women with clothing and skilling, re-entering the workforce. And so there's a lot to be done here at Lattiverse today. And so another thing that's very important is that we begin our day. Oh, and something fun too, the flare. I know people love to collect various flares, so it's like having that flare as you go through and get recognition. It's fun. So I want to start today really grounded in gratitude. Thank you is just two little words that as people leaders we know go a very long way. It's important to not just be thankful for what people do every day, but just be thankful for being here, for the opportunities that we have, and just starting the day, bless you, whoever sneezed in the audience, to say thank you and just recognize the people around us and just look up away from our phones, away from our busyness, and be grateful. So thankful to all of you, our customers that are here today, our partners, also the community of people leaders helping each other, and also to our employees. The London office is a special one. I am fortunate to come here about once a quarter. I've been CEO for Lattice about a year and a half, and I made a commitment to this team, and I think I've held up on that commitment. Stephen, have I held up? Yes. And what's great is that I've been able to meet so many great customers. When I come to London, the team knows to put on their trainers and we just go walking around London. I think we clock about 20,000 steps a day when I'm here, so it's very good. And we're here together as Lattice with our mission, which is to very simply make work meaningful. And these are three words which I think pack a very serious punch. Because meaning in and of itself is something which we all seek. And see, right? The buttons are even telling us. You think about your adult lives, and we spend about 1/3 of our adult lives at work. And that's more time than we spend at home with our families. It's more time than we often spend sleeping, especially when you're jet lagged. And so when you're doing something that much time that you're dedicating to your work, I deeply believe, and we deeply believe, it should be meaningful, meaning that you should understand why you're doing it. You should understand the purpose behind it. You should be able to understand the goals that you're striving towards, and also feel that you're working towards that together with your teammates and colleagues and people that you work with at work. And so making work meaningful, this is really our mission at Lattice. And I'm very proud to share that we've been succeeding together in this mission. I've only been on the journey for about 1.5 years with the team, but the company is 10 years old in pursuit of this mission. We have over 5,000 global customers, many of them here in the UK and the European Union, and product that has been rated by you on review sites like G2 Crowd and others as #1. And another thing I'm very proud of, I mentioned SmartWorks earlier as a nonprofit organization. We have over 75 nonprofits running on Lattice. And also aligning to our values, something that we've announced at Lattiverse is that we have our new program with Lattice for Good. And this is a way to help nonprofit organizations stretch their budgets even a little bit further to bring some of the powerful HR tools that we have at Lattice into those organizations that are also in the belief that they want to make work meaningful for their teams, but maybe their budgets are a bit stretched. So this is a program to help with some pricing and discounts for qualified nonprofit organizations. So the other thing at Lattice that we always want to do is be thinking about what's next. What is the future? How can we innovate to help everyone on this mission? And this past year, we have over 250 features, which we have released into our products. These are our core products with performance and engagement, compensation, also a new product with HRIS, and making sure that we have that global lens of having our language support, our data residency support, and making sure, I think one of the top features was requesting that the dates be formatted and not the United States version of looking at the way the dates are. So it's important that we have a global lens on our roadmap. And another reason why I do love coming here regularly to London is to hear from all of you and what you want to see in the product. And I say this because we've had our quarterly product roadmap reviews here. Jazz and team have had sessions at our office, who here has been to the Lattice London office, maybe by hands? I see maybe a quarter. You'll guess what I'm about to say is we have a slide. You should come and visit. It's a great office. But we also have our roadmap transparently available online, and you can share features that you would request to be seen in the roadmap too there, which is important to us to have the transparency and the trust where you shape our roadmap. So we are building all of this innovation because we believe, not just to make work meaningful, but we believe in the success of people. And it's a very purposeful thing to say, especially right now in the time of so much conversation and innovation. But focusing on the success of people first and how we look at how people are successful with technology and how we ask ourselves, are we innovating in a way that is for technology first, or are we really innovating in a way that's going to put the success of people first? Because when the people thrive, that's when your business is going to thrive. If you don't have a great culture, if you don't have great people, your business will struggle. And as people leaders here today, we all know this in our core, and this is why we're doing what we're doing. And it's not easy. I will tell you, I was just having this conversation with, you'll meet her in a little bit, our VP of People, Sophie. She knows I say this regularly. She's smiling right here. She knows. I did not have the level of appreciation for the role of people leaders when I joined this company as I do today. I am in awe of what people leaders do every day, dealing with the complexities, the intricacies, the nuance, the expectations. Everything is in front of you, and you're being asked to deliver change and stability at the same time always. And it's harder than ever right now because engagement is not just declining, it's at a 10-year low, and the pace of change is ever increasing. I mean, who here has had maybe a manager change, an organization's change, a strategy shift within the year? Okay, everybody's hand went up for that one. It's a lot of change, and what this does, as we all know, is it erodes trust. When you're not sure if the rug's gonna be pulled out from under you, I don't know if that's a US saying or if it's a common one, Isabel's nodding yes, okay. If you're feeling that sense of uncertainty, you don't have trust, and you lack trust in your leadership, your management. You're uncertain, and that is not a good environment to be working through as a people leader. So it's hard. And those are things which are statistics that we can point to reports. Like at Lattice, we have a state of people ops, a state of people strategy report. You'll see on LinkedIn lots of statistics around engagement and change and all of the strategy shifts. But there's in United States a saying around the uncommon or uncomfortable truths that we all know about, but we don't often talk about. Maybe because we're anxious or nervous, but the elephants that are in the room are very clearly the fear and the uncertainty and the doubt. And that exists around the thing I mentioned earlier around AI. Everybody's fearful of what it means. Am I going to have a job tomorrow? Will my children have jobs? That's a very real fear that people have. And then the uncertainty around, well, I have a job, but am I doing what I should be doing? If I use AI, is it cheating or is it helping? I'm uncertain and I don't know what to do, and I can be a little bit paralyzed with that uncertainty. And then the doubt. Is the AI going to really help us? Or can I trust it? Is it hallucinating? So this is the fear, the uncertainty, and doubt, the FUD that we all face. And this is a thing which is not as often talked about as we need to talk about, because as people leaders, this is the real emotional piece that we need to also navigate with our companies and our teams. But that's the negative side, or the worrisome side. There's also, the optimist in me thinks about the opportunity. And if you think about for AI and HR and people leaders right now, there really is an incredible opportunity. As the slide says, it's a dawn of a new era for HR. And if you just close your eyes a moment and think of like how incredible it would be to have all the drudgerous work, all of the spreadsheets magically fix themselves, and have everything done, and have everything calendared, and everyone on the same page, and all of that just happening. It would be so refreshing to just wake up and go to work and do strategic work and be able to think and process and do in a way that you've always dreamed of, putting together your programs and processes, instead of being just bogged down with work which is rote or drudgerous. And this is where I get very excited, because AI agents, they really can be something which can give us a superpower. You think about, who is your favorite superhero? There's no secret that my favorite superhero is Wonder Woman. You know Wonder Woman? She has like the cuffs, the magic cuffs. But she also has this thing called this truth lasso. And she can lasso people, and they have to tell the truth. I mean, think how amazing that would be, especially right now, to be able to lasso people and be like, you have to tell me the truth. There wouldn't be any question. And so being able to have those superpowers at work, imagine being able to be a manager that knows exactly what your team needs, or what they're feeling, or how they need help or don't need help, or knowing exactly what you need to do when to get a promotion at work. Having that ability to know that and have things done, it's an incredible superpower that we could have. And this is what I like to think about AI. It's how you put the success of people first in the conversation, how you think of AI as giving ourselves superpowers like Iron Man, where it's this suit, this incredible suit that the person steps into and then has incredible power. But that's the key, is that you have to have the person inside, and that we need to focus on what the person can do. And so when we think of AI, we have many questions. around, is it happening? Yes. Does it mean my job is going to change? Yes. Is there a lot of change? Yes. There's so many questions that we have. But at Lattice, the most important question that we think that we should be asking right now, especially as people leaders, is how? How are we going to go through this incredible change management, this incredible opportunity in a way where we put the success of people first? How are we going to do this? And the answer that we have, that we look to, is to say that we're going to do this together. As people leaders, as HR leaders, this is the moment. When you think about a company and functions within your company and their charters, their North Stars, if you have a revenue leader, they're going to be focused on revenue. If you have a CIO, they're going to be focused on how successful the technology is. If you have a marketing leader, they're going to be focused on how much pipeline they're created. Those are their Norths. You, us, we together, our focus is on the success of people first. And that is the most important thing, because when you're focused on that and how you bring AI in with transparency, responsibly, and being accountable to the success to the people, so that AI doesn't cast judgment, so that AI does not take control. The people are in control, and that we're doing this for the service of people. That is what we want to talk about today. That is why we are innovating, and that is the future that we're building, a people-powered future, where even if you look at this diagram, which is supposed to describe our technology and our platform, the center of it are humans, they're people. And the technology is built around them, just like the little Iron Man suit, although this one's shaped like a rainbow. And everything from your HR to your talent, all in a platform so it's easy to use and it's integrated, and most importantly, you trust it, because that is paramount. And so we've been innovating in our product, and now I get to pass the microphone and the clicker, I think, to our Director of Solutions Engineer. Come on, Ian, you can get up here. Ian Downey, take it away.
Thank you very much. Hello everyone, my name is Ian Downey. I'm our Director of Solutions Engineering. So, for the past decade, Lattice has partnered with thousands of customers all across the world to help them grow, lead, and succeed. And as Sarah mentioned, we now have a full platform from core HR all the way through to talent and performance. I'm sure many of you in the room have been using Lattice to streamline your performance review processes, run engagement surveys to gather business insights, and also grow and develop your employees. And then along came AI. And our first step with our AI roadmap was to start weaving AI all the way throughout the platform. So things like performance review summaries, AI-driven summaries to help you fill out a performance review quickly and effectively with still that human element behind it. Or engagement surveys. We always heard that teams were taking days, weeks, months to sift through all the insights they get back from an engagement survey. AI was the perfect place for us to add that into it so you can get really quick time to value, so you can focus on addressing the things that matter instead of sifting through all of that information. And then last month, we introduced our Lattice AI agent. And this is a place where you can come and ask anything. It's always on, it's always learning, and it doesn't matter if you're an employee, whether you're a manager, whether you're in the HR team or an admin, you can ask anything. You almost need to think of it like a personal assistant. Not sure about you, I'd love to have a personal assistant. The good news is we have one in Lattice AI now. The Lattice AI agent is a place where you can get instant answers. So think about all of that documentation that you hold for employees to reference, HR policies, employee handbooks, huge amounts of information. So this is a place where you can go and get instant answers. You can also gain actionable insights. So maybe you're a manager and you want to understand more about how your team is feeling. You can then link that through to coaching. So let's say the sentiment of your team has dropped. What do I need to do to get that sentiment back up? And then, of course, the thing that we all want, right? Save time. We're all very, very time poor at the moment. So the Lattice AI agent is going to help you save time and, in turn, reduce costs. So what I wanted to do is just take a bit of a step back and help you understand how that Lattice AI agent works, give you a bit of a peek behind the curtain with all the magic that happens when someone asks a question. I'm sure this is a question that many of you have asked before. I know I've certainly asked it. When can I get a raise? Sorry, Sarah. So what happens when someone asks a question like this? So the first thing that's going to happen is the Lattice AI agent is going to run it through our permissions engine. When we surface this information back to the employee, it obviously needs to be relevant, but it also should be information that they should have access to. We know that companies think long and hard about all the permissions they put in place within Lattice, so the Lattice AI agent will always honor those permissions. Next, it's going to look in 3 key areas, the first being the Lattice Knowledge Vault. This is a secure place where you can upload all of your documentation. So again, those things I talked about, employee handbooks, leave policies, in this case, what your compensation philosophy is and how often you run those compensation processes. Next, Lattice data, both personal and product. Personal being, who is this person, where are they based, how long have they been there for, when are they next eligible for a compensation raise? And then product data, so what does their performance look like? What feedback has been gathered over time? And then finally, other systems. We realize that not all of your information will sit in Lattice, so we integrate with other systems like Box, Dropbox, Google Drive, and this is only going to get broader and deeper over time. So think of things like Salesforce for your CRM, or Google Drive, or Zendesk for your ticketing. So once the AI agent has referenced all of that information, it's gathered all the bits that it needs to answer the question, it's then going to take that prompt, grounded with all of that context, and it's going to pass it over to our partner at OpenAI to formulate a response. Now, it's important to note here, OpenAI doesn't use any of your data to train its models. It doesn't retain any of the data, and anything that gets sent over is completely anonymized. So it's going to formulate that response, and then just like magic, it's going to send it back to the employee, and it's going to give them a really, really specific answer to the question that they have. So we can see here, again, we know when this person has started. We know when they're next eligible for a compensation raise. We also know all of the types of feedback that they've gathered as well. And actually, it's even prompting them to have a conversation with their manager about all the things that it's learned, so they can then have a really meaningful conversation with their manager during their next one-to-one. Now, you may well be asking, how does this differ from some of the other models that you might use? Well, to be honest, you could ask a question like this in one of the models you use. However, if you ask a question like this, it's going to give you a pretty generic response. Again, because we hold all of that information about that particular person, the answer that they're going to get is very specific and tailored to them. And look, that is just one example. So you can use this, as I said, it's a personal assistant. You can use this for anything. So how do I prepare for my next one-to-one? How is my team feeling this week? Or what should I focus on today? Again, we know the goals of the company. They're in Lattice. We know what that person's working on, so it can help you focus on the things for that particular day to prioritize your work. And this is just the beginning. We're going to see some customer stories soon. And you're going to see some of the exciting new things that we're going to be doing with the Lattice AI agent. So think of things like proactive insights. So as we've just talked about at the moment, the Lattice AI agent is reactive. You go, you ask a question, it'll give you the answer, you can have it back and forth. It's soon going to be able to surface proactive insights. So again, imagine you're a manager and you want to see how your team's feeling. It's going to surface that and then help you gather those insights and give you actions off the back of it. And then it can become a coach. So you might be approaching a difficult conversation at work. How do I get coached through that? A meeting assist. So I don't know about you, but I love to sit in a meeting and focus on the conversation instead of sitting there and scribbling notes. So the Lattice AI agent can become a meeting assist where it can take those notes for you so you can focus on having a really meaningful conversation. And then voice modality. Some people would love to type in a question. Some people like to just have a chat. So being able to chat through the questions that you have using voice modality. And the good news is, it's ready now. People are using it. You can use it straight away. It's free for our customers until June next year, so you can turn it on, take seconds. There's a QR code on this massive screen behind me. I'm told I'm not tall enough to get in the way, so you should be okay. There's a big QR code up there that will give you all of the information that you need to get it turned on, and we're so excited to see what you're going to do with it. And with that, I'll pass it back to Sarah.
Thank you, Ian. I just love that because I feel like I just got a master class in how AI works. It's really good. So this is how we are innovating to help make work meaningful. I think I counted meaningful maybe 5-10 times in your conversation. I'm totally need to move my hair over the microphone, so make sure I do that. Because when you can remove the drudgerous work, the rote work, then you can focus on the work that really is meaningful, and I think that's powerful. So now that's a little bit of explanation of the technology and where we're going to be showing you this from a customer's lens. So we want to show you doing some storytelling and seeing our customers, how they grow and lead and succeed, really putting the success of people first, so people plus AI succeed together. And we have an incredible first customer we want to share of Brex, and let's roll the film.
Growing a company is one thing. Building a culture where every employee can grow their career, that's the real challenge.
Our first performance review cycle, it ran on a spreadsheet, and it crashed. We knew we needed a solution to better support our high-performing culture and one that could evolve and scale with our talent strategy.
Lattice gave us a system that is reliable, flexible, and actually supports performance and career growth. It's helping every employee understand what growth looks like and how to get there.
Lattice just works. It's reliable, it's intuitive, and it fits how we operate.
We're not just managing people or tracking performance, we're unlocking potential and helping our team level up to grow their careers.
AI is becoming a core part about how we operate, helping us move faster, work smarter, and scale.
We're excited about Lattice AI and its ability to equip managers with real-time insights and employees to grow and do their best work.
Lattice keeps up with our pace, our people, and our priorities.
It helps us grow the business and grow the people building it.
Work should be meaningful.
Lattice helps make it real.
So to bring this story to life, please welcome Jazz Lau, our Senior Activation Manager. Come on, Jazz.
I didn't realize it was going to be a dance-off, so there you have it. But hi, everyone. I'm Jazz, a Senior Activation Manager here at Lattice. I'm also a former teacher, which is why I'm passionate about education, learning, and development, and why I'm excited to introduce Brex and its people to you today. So Heather was the CPO, as you saw, of Brex, and she and the team are focused on creating systems that are just as focused on employee growth as they are the business. Heather and her team needed people, processes and systems that supported the high-performing culture and the employee growth that they needed alongside scaling the business. But as we know, that's much easier said than done. Their first performance review cycle didn't quite go as expected. And so when they paired with Lattice, they moved quickly. They implemented quarterly check-ins, 360-degree feedback, and started calibrating across their teams. And with Lattice AI, they can do that even more and without losing any of the quality that they've built. Heather and her team are keen to see AI grow every employee at the business. Imagine a world where AI is able to insightfully raise situations where you might need a performance conversation or even prepare for the conversation that you're having for the first time. With the new Lattice functionalities like the proactive insights, coach, meeting assist, and voice modality, we can do exactly that. It works the way that your employees do, helping them focus, move faster, and lead with efficiency. With that, we're bringing people plus AI together to bring success. Heather and her team are just one example of forward-thinking HR teams that are looking to lead in a world that's being shaped by AI. And so, with Lattice, we're making work meaningful for every employee. But I've said a lot. What does that actually look like? So let's go over to an actual demo. And we've been working with teams like Brex to take on their feedback and design an intuitive, understandable dashboard for managers anytime that they log into Lattice. And so here we have Diego's dashboard. He's a new engineering manager at Brex. We can see that he's got a little insight about his direct report, Casey, a team pulse, understanding the sentiment of how the team is feeling over time, and even some feedback or recognition opportunities. Zooming a little bit on Casey, we can see that actually she's missed a deadline recently and not communicated that to the team. Instead of waiting for the next one-to-one and letting that behavior go on, Lattice is prompting him to have an earlier one-to-one and even shape some of the talking points around that conversation to best frame it. Let's go ahead and add that to the one-to-one, and you can see there that it's added in those points. However, as we mentioned, Diego is a new manager and needs a little bit more support than that. And so he's actually going to ask the AI how to best prepare. Remember, this is trained on your own company's values and desired behaviors. So it's not just a generic one-size-fits-all manager response. It's about the behavior that you want to embody at the organization and what managerial expectations there are. And so you can see the way that Casey can not just template the conversation, but genuinely prepare himself for an empathetic and balanced one-to-one. Diego can prepare himself with that conversation with Casey. Here's my favorite part as a former educator. Not everyone learns just by reading it. Some people do need to role play, practice, walk through what this might be like. And that's exactly what the voice modality can do. Instead of having to reach out to his HRBP at a time that might not work for them and wait for a response, Diego can go ahead and practice with the voice modality straight away. But instead of me telling you about it, let's listen in.
What would be most useful to discuss about your conversation with Casey?
How do I broach the topic in a way that won't make Casey defensive and let them know I care about their success?
Your goal isn't just to give feedback. You should also partner with Casey to identify next steps that will help her move forward. Be specific about the pattern, connect it to impact, and make it safe to ask for help. This isn't about catching mistakes. It's about helping her succeed in a new domain. Ready to give it a shot?
Volume aside, not bad, right? And that's just one example of what the coach can do. The key that I want to drive home here is that this is available to all of your managers. Previously, managerial effectiveness programs have been costly, time-consuming, and hard to scale. So typically reserved for your top level of leadership, your VPs who have the time and energy to put into these programs. Now, with the Lattice coach by your side, this is available to any manager at any level, at any time. Let's fast forward to the conversation between Diego and Casey. We've muted it this time. But here, the meeting assist is transcribing and helping to summarize the conversation so Diego can focus on being present in the moment and actually having the conversation, embodying those behaviors that we want across the organization. Not only that, it will give us some actionable insights and suggested next steps, and even give Diego some feedback on how the conversation's been discussed, and perhaps some ways that he'll be able to improve it next time. We'll show you exactly what that looks like. So here, the meeting summary. You can see we've ticked off those agenda points that we added in. We do have those actionable items that we could take forward to make sure something comes out of the conversation. On the right-hand bar, you have the meeting transcript and the summary. And my favorite part, the feedback down at the bottom. How did Diego do in this conversation? What went well? And if he has a similar sort of situation in the future, how could he better handle the conversation? To bring it all back together and close the loop, let's go back to our proactive insights dashboard. Here, we can see that Casey is both feeling and performing better. She took the conversation as an opportunity to grow and rose to the challenge. So this time in our one-to-one, we're suggesting that actually we take the opportunity to celebrate and reinforce the behaviors that Casey is now demonstrating within the organization. And so, just to recap all the pieces that we've covered so far, number one, the Proactive Insights dashboard raised a situation that might have otherwise gone unnoticed or unnoticed at least until it was too late. Next, we used the coach to prepare for the one-to-one and even the modular voice to understand what that might be like, practice and role play it a little bit. Then afterwards, during the meeting assist transcribed the conversation, found some actionable next steps, and also gave feedback to Diego. So you can see how the loop, how it all comes together. It's Brex plus Lattice, people plus AI. We're making work meaningful and helping grow every employee. But with that, it's back to you, Sarah.
Okay, there we go. They told me to use the handheld now, so real-time adapting. That was just incredible, Jazz. I loved that, and I think that helps bring to life a little bit around what we're sharing with people plus AI, putting people first. Jazz said it so well. Everybody doesn't have an assistant. Everybody doesn't have a coach. Those are programs that are often budget constrained and capacity constrained. And so looking at how you scale your reach to help everyone, that's just incredible. Now we have some more story time that we want to have with you today. This is a story. It's a company you may not have heard of here in London, Unreal Snacks. And I think we have some here, actually, some of these snacks. Rachel's nodding yes. They're quite good, I will say. But let's go ahead and see a film of how Unreal is leading with Lattice. Roll the film.
At Unreal Snacks, we're intentional about the snacks we make and are just as intentional about how we build and lead our team.
We were growing fast, our headcount doubled, but we didn't have the HR infrastructure to support it.
We needed a platform that could scale with us, nurture talent, and help us build the next generation of leaders.
That's when we turned to Lattice. We brought all our core people processes, from onboarding to goal setting and performance, into one integrative and intuitive platform.
What I loved was that I could see Lattice working just as well for a team of 30 as it could for 500.
Lattice is now embedded throughout the employee journey, giving us one place to plan, support, and develop our people.
Employees have one clear system for goals, feedback, and growth, so they can develop with confidence.
My team saves time with automated workflows, and our managers gain insights to drive team impact.
We've enabled every Lattice AI feature, and it's helping to drive real impact.
We're moving faster, making smarter decisions,
and we're focusing on the work that really needs a human touch.
We've always believed that putting people first is good business.
With Lattice, we're building better leaders
and making work more meaningful at every stage.
So please welcome back to the stage to bring this story to life, Ian Downey.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So, look, as we saw from that video, Unreal Snacks were growing at a rapid pace. Should be going to the next slide. I don't think anyone wants to see my face for too long. Yeah, there we go. Good. So Unreal Snacks were growing at a really rapid pace. I think they said they doubled their headcount, which is a nice problem to have, right? That's something that we all want. We want that growth, but with it comes problems. It's sort of having all these different pieces of information all in different places. So they wanted a place to unite all of that information from core HR all the way through to performance under one roof. And that's not just for the employee experience. That's obviously very, very important. One place for employees to be able to go and do the things that they need to do. But also from a strategic point of view, you know, if we think of Kevin, who's the CEO there, he wants to be able to look at a holistic picture of the organization so they can become much more strategic in the conversations that they have. And this is a very good opportunity for us to talk about a new feature that we have, which is called the Employee Health Score. So this is going back to that sort of strategic conversation that we talked about. So some things, as they said in the video, they need a human touch, and this is the understanding of how your employees are feeling. And having all of that information in one place allows you to understand what the employee health score is for individuals, but also for the whole company as well. Now, my job mainly really is to demo how Lattice works to a lot of our customers and prospective customers, so I'm very keen to get into the demo. So why don't we jump in and we can show you what this looks like. So we're looking at this through the eyes of McKenna, who is the VP of People at Unreal Snacks. Now, McKenna, her journey starts in the directory. So she'll jump into the directory, and this might be a screen that some of you are familiar with. You can see all of your employees in one place. However, you might hopefully notice something different. We have this employee health score, and you can see it's low, medium, and high. This means that McKenna can jump into any of these employees, like Cindy, for example. If she jumps into Cindy, she can see all the different things that contribute towards this employee health score and take action should she need to. But Cindy's not someone we necessarily have to focus on right now. What she wants to do is have a look at Nick. As we can see, Nick has a low employee health score. So what she's able to do is she can jump into Nick's profile, and she also knows that Julie, who is Nick's manager, is a new manager. So she wants to be able to arm Julie with some of the information that she needs to ensure that the next conversation she has with Nick is a fruitful one. Now, the first thing that McKenna can do is she can go and see all of Nick's past performance reviews. So at the top, she can understand all the performance that he's had, and she realizes really quickly that Nick is actually a high performer, so someone that Unreal Snacks definitely wants to retain. And because he's got a low health score, she can then start diving into all the factors that make up this score. Again, going back to what we were talking about before, now that they hold all of that information in one place, they're able to look at different factors within Lattice that are contributing to a low health score. So the first is team stability. So we can see that Nick has had a lot of change in his world. He's had 3 recent manager changes. He's also had some skip level changes as well. So there's a good chance, if we read between the lines, that he doesn't feel like anyone's really advocating for him. She can then go down into what does Nick's employee growth look like at Unreal Snacks? And we can see, unfortunately for Nick, it's been pretty stagnant. He hasn't received a compensation change for a while or a title change. So that's another factor that is contributing to that low employee health score. And then there's the engagement piece. And when we talk about engagement within the realms of the employee health score, it's the engagement from the Lattice perspective. So when we think about things like the feedback that Nick has been given or the praise that he's received, but also really importantly, those updates that Nick's filling out every single week, they seem to be tracking down. So that's another factor that's going into the employee health score. Now here's the good news. McKenna, she knows that Julie's probably going to be having some conversations with Nick soon as a new manager, so she can go up and look at what the Lattice AI agent is going to be suggesting. Imagine how powerful that conversation is going to be when Julie has it with Nick with all of this information. She proactively goes to him and says, hey, we can see all the things that may be contributing to you feeling a little bit disengaged in the company. Let's have a conversation about that. So superpowers that we talked about before, right? She's got all of that information and she proactively had that conversation with Nick. So that's one employee. So obviously we can go through and look at it on an individual level. The other thing is McKenna has a one-to-one with Kevin, the CEO, every month. And that's a one-to-one that she wants to approach in a very strategic manner. Of course, she can go through all the filters and change things around, but let's go down the people plus AI route and give her some of those superpowers that we talked about. So she can go up to the Lattice AI agent and she can ask a question. She can say, how does employee health vary by department? You saw how the Lattice AI agent worked before. It's going to work its magic, and then it's going to give her the insights across the business. So we can see really quickly, teams like product, teams like people, great employee health scores. However, our sales team, for whatever reason, are a bit lower. So she thinks, you know what, I might dig into that a little bit more. So she can ask another question. She can say, well, why don't we look at employee health score via manager within the sales team? So straight away, she doesn't have to do all the slicing and dicing. It's going to come back with all this information for her, and she can see which managers that she might need to educate a little bit further about some of the things that they're doing. So she's got a very strategic conversation that she can have with those, but she can also surface that insight to Kevin through their next one-to-one. And then she thinks, you know what? Why don't I come at this from a different angle? What about tenure? Like how the people that have been here longer, what does that look like in terms of employee health? So she can look at that via tenure. And again, she sees a pattern. So she can see the people that have joined recently, very engaged, they're very happy, they're very excited about what they're doing, but the longer they're here, that sort of drops off over time. So imagine her being able to go to that one-to-one with Kevin and talk about these things so they can sort of understand how they work with people that have been here longer to keep them engaged and excited about the organization. So just a quick recap, as you can see, by bringing all of that information into one place, it not only gives employees at Unreal Snacks the ability to go to one place to do all the things that they need to do, But McKenna can look at it from an individual level, all the different health scores that people have, and have conversations with the managers to ensure that employee health score goes up. And then when she goes into her one-to-ones with Kevin, they're very strategic, so they can make sure that everyone in the organisation is talked about and thought of. She can also add this to a one-to-one in her upcoming meeting. Sorry, I missed that. I went a bit past my thing there. Yeah, so she can actually add that from the AI agent, where she can share that in the next one-to-one on the report as well. And that is how Unreal Snacks are doing people plus AI to make work more meaningful. Thank you. Sorry, I lost my place.
I mean, who doesn't want to slice and dice data that way, right? So amazing. And great job, he too, as well, on the demo driving. That was good syncing up there. No AI required to keep you two in sync. She was like, I'm going to prompt you right here, and you're going to remember this part of the demo. So those are two incredible stories, and you see how Lattice AI is helping our customers. And now we want to have one last story around an incredible company headquartered in France, in Paris, right? You're headquartered in Paris or in New York? Okay. Just making sure I got that one right. And they've also become great friends of mine over the years. But first, let's see the film for Open Classrooms.
At Open Classrooms, we're not just helping people learn, we're helping them succeed. That starts with our own teams.
As Open Classrooms grew, success meant more than hitting targets. It meant enabling people to thrive in their roles.
However, with growth came complexity. Managers needed clearer ways to lead, employees needed better feedback, and we needed scalable tools to support both, without losing our values.
Lattice gave us a platform to scale success across one-on-ones, reviews, and engagement. Feedback is also clearer and more aligned to our values. And public sharing through Slack turns it into a company-wide moment.
With Lattice, success now feels different and better. Employees feel supported, managers feel equipped, and our culture feels more connected, with our values showing up in everyday interactions.
Our next step is all about manager empowerment, giving leaders the insight they need to spot challenges early and support their teams more effectively.
And with Lattice AI, managers can now define clearer goals faster, so teams can stay focused and aligned.
Success at Open Classroom starts with our people.
With Lattice, we're building a culture where everyone has what they need to succeed
together.
And now, our leader of our incredible people team at Lattice, please welcome Sophie Hurcombe, our VP of People.
Hi, I'm so excited to be here in London with you all. I'm Sophie. I have the pleasure of leading the people team here at Lattice. And at Lattice, my team and I have this unique opportunity to really be customer zero, which means we're often the first in the product, really helping test, iterate, and make sure we're delighting all of you, our customers, and our HR community, which is something that I love. It's probably my favorite part of my job. And I'm just so incredibly lucky to be a part of this with all of you as well. So we just saw the incredible story from the people team at Open Classrooms and how they're really using Lattice to help themselves succeed and scale and grow. They were growing really quickly, and they needed to make sure they had the tools in place to really enable their managers, their employees. And I think the thing that I love the most is that the anchor and the core of that was keeping their values at the heart. Something that I care really deeply about as well, and I want to take you through a little bit of how we're innovating in our Lattice AI Talent Suite to really help bring this to life. So as we saw from my colleagues today, we've talked about things around our innovation in the HRIS. We've talked about innovation in our AI products as well. But I also want to bring to life a little bit of the development and innovation we're driving in the Talent Suite, which I know you all care and love, and it's probably the part of the product that you know more deeply. So things like our performance reviews, our review cycles, our goals products, our engagements, and our grow tools. I want to talk a little bit more about how it's all coming together in the Lattice platform and what we're innovating on in this space. So let's go to the demo and take a look at this. Stephanie is the CHRO of Open Classrooms. You're going to hear from her a little bit later today, and I'm so excited to bring her up on stage later. She starts her day in the Lattice homepage. She has access to things like tasks she needs to complete for performance reviews. She can also check in on her team's health and team sentiment. She can prepare for upcoming one-on-ones and team meetings, all here on the Lattice platform. Stephanie is a very busy leader. She has a lot to get done in her day, and so she wants to come to the Lattice AI agent to get some quick insights. She comes in here and she asks a question. Who on my team is needing that feedback? Because the Lattice AI agent knows who reports to Stephanie, it has details from her updates, her one-on-ones, it knows when she last gave feedback to her team, it produces this really contextualized and meaningful response. She can see she needs to give some feedback to Alexis, and so she asks the Lattice AI agent to populate that for her next one-on-one, make sure she's got some talking points. She pops it in, it suggests some talking points, and she can quickly add that to the next one-on-one with one click of a button. Really, really important for busy leaders to have access to this and really help enable them. She's back on the Lattice homepage. This is where she comes to a command center. We'll get there. We're nearly back to the homepage. But where she's going to come back to, she's going to come back to this Lattice homepage, where she has access to all of those different tasks she needs to complete. She's going to jump in here in a second and actually start writing those reviews. And because the review product has all of the contextualized information she needs, it's easy to do that. So right here, right into the reviews. She has the performance summary here on the right-hand side. It has access to things like prior peer review feedback. It's got access to things like prior like feedback from her team. And so Tammy's feedback here is all summarized in the AI summarization here. One thing I'm really excited to share with you all here today is very soon we're also going to have access to pull in insights from places like Zendesk and Google Meet so that we can give a more holistic and well-rounded view of your team's performance, pulling in insights from all those different places where your teams work so you just have much more information and context summarized at your fingertips as a leader to populate this review. You'll also continue to have access to things like prior one-on-ones and updates, goals or growth areas so that you are really helping reduce that recency bias and looking across the whole employee experience to populate and write that review. So of course, AI can help contextualize and summarize big bodies of information, just like this, to write the review. But what we want to make sure we continue to do, and at the core of us as a Lattice team, is we care about managers still making those informed decisions. So as a manager, you're still making that decision on what their performance rating is and their potential rating right here. Just like that, the review is complete. We move into the calibration process. This is something that is so important as a HR leader. It's that moment you have with all of your executives talking about your talent density and your talent bar. But the thing that makes that meaningful is that people have the context they need to have those discussions. And so the Lattice calibration product can AI summarization from those review packets all here. So this review packet summarization is pulling out all the things we need to know about Tammy's performance to make sure that that's populated and ready to go. No longer do you need to download review packets, share them with your leaders, actually hope they read those. They can come into the calibration product, you can give them that access, and they can see it right here, ready to go to have that conversation. The other thing I'm excited to share is Tammy's also up for promotion, which is a pretty exciting moment in your career. We can do everything from the context to approval right here in the Lattice product. Easy. Stephanie now needs to make a compensation recommendation for Tammy. She moves into the compensation product flowing straight from that calibration process. When she comes in here to make a recommendation for Tammy, she has access to everything she needs. She has Tammy's current compensation, she has access to things like guidance and recommendations. She can also see Tammy's compensation band, all here, easy for her to quickly plug in what she needs and move on to that next step. Once your managers complete all their compensation recommendations, as a HR team, you can quickly push that process next from the compensation tool into the HRIS with just really seamless submissions. We shared this last week, and I have one more really exciting update because I want to make sure everyone here heard the news as well. But we shared this in San Francisco last week at Lattiverse, that we can now download PowerPoint exports of your engagement survey results with one click of a button. Woo! Yeah! Hey, Tu and I are excited. When you go to click on this button just here for the PowerPoint slides, it produces a deck ready to use on the spot. You can filter it down by the fields you use in the product already, like manager, department, custom fields you may be using. just making sure that that deck is ready to go. You can get it in front of your leaders, have those conversations, and really remove the drudgery you've heard about earlier today, and that I'm sure you all experience, and free your time up and your team's time up to really focus on what matters. That strategic work, driving the actions out of your engagement surveys, and making sure you're impacting that change for your teams. I am personally very excited about this. This is going to save my team a ton of times. I hope it saves all of you, our Talent Suite our customers, open classrooms as well, a ton of time with having this at your fingertips. So let's recap what we just saw. We went into the Talent Suite and we saw everything for open classrooms and how they're managing performance reviews, they're managing compensation, calibrations, and then also engagement surveys, all in one connected platform, Lattice. And that's how open classrooms is succeeding with people plus AI. Back to you, Sarah.
Okay, the stairs are probably the most dangerous part. Okay, what are you more excited about, AI or PowerPoint presentations that you can download? Sophie's team PowerPoint. So you've heard a lot from us, but what's most important is that we have our customers share from their point of view themselves. So please welcome in the flesh the CHRO of Open Classrooms, Stephanie Frez.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you for being here. So can you share a little bit with everyone here what success for your people looks like at Open Classrooms?
Does everyone know what Open Classrooms is doing? No, okay. Open Classrooms is an online learning company, and we are focusing on reskilling people. So what matters the most to our employees is actually when we have tangible and concrete career outcomes for our students. So as an example, last year it was more than 40,000 change or successful career transitions for our students. And this is really like a tangible measure of success for our teams.
And so for your teams, what does it mean to make work meaningful?
Yeah. So obviously, our mission is to make education accessible. Having career outcomes is already one way to measure that. But the other one is when we are really able to remove barriers, entry barriers for people who don't have access to education, for people who don't have access to job, employment. And so as an example, what is really a strong sign of meaning for us is like, for instance, last year we had like 30% of our students who had a low training before they enter in our path. Another example is that we had more than 50% of our students who were unemployed before joining our training program. We are also quite proud to have more than 30% of women in our tech path, which is kind of the double of the average market. We also train 30K students on accessibility trainings. So all of that is really tangible signs of how much we are trying to remove barriers to education from a financial standpoint, a social standpoint, or geographical standpoint.
And how do you think AI is going to help in this success?
Yeah, so obviously you've seen that AI is quite present in our employee journey. We use obviously most of the Lattice features for different touch points, from hiring through performance, managing feedback, equipping our managers. Obviously, we also use AI in our own platform. From admission, all the funnel is completely powered by AI. We also have a companion that is a little mentor, fully powered by AI, so our students can benefit from support 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So obviously AI is really a powerful tool for us so we can focus on our mission.
I just am so thankful that you're doing this work and that you're just giving back, especially from a gender standpoint, and just helping give this opportunity. Thank you so much, Stephanie, for you and everything you do. Thank you. So this is what we wanted to do today, was tell you stories of people leaders like yourselves who are succeeding, who are growing their companies, helping their people lead, and really how people plus AI is helping them succeed together. very purposefully, we've built the whole platform. We've showcased you like some of the pieces of the platform, but it is one platform, as Sophie often says, to manage everything from pay to performance. And it is powerful to have this for you. But we do have one more thing that we want to share, one more innovation, because the team put a lot of work into building the foundation for the Lattice AI agent. And it's really helpful for HR leaders. You see everything from the coaching to the assisting and how it can be helpful when applied to people use cases. But the product team was like, we're not going to make this just for people leaders, because people leaders help all functions. And you need to be able to help all people in your business succeed. And so that's why today we're also sharing the introduction of the AI agent platform. And this is really custom AI agents for every employee. And I think that we should bring Ian up back one more time to do this justice.
Thank you very much. Me again. So, we've taken you on a little bit of an AI journey earlier in terms of what our roadmap looked like. So the first thing that we did was we took AI and we started weaving it all the way throughout the platform to the places that you already know and love. So again, think of things like your performance review summaries, your engagement insights, your writing assist, AI giving you those superpowers. Next, we talk about our AI agent and the amazing things that can do. And as Sarah mentioned, that's very much HR focused. But I'm really excited to talk about our latest piece of AI innovation, the Lattice AI agent platform. So imagine being able to use the same capabilities, the same secure framework that you use for the Lattice AI agent, but start using them across the business. Every department in your business probably has similar questions that can be answered through an agent. Things like your IT teams, things like your marketing teams, your finance teams. These are questions that they're going to get asked a lot. There's going to be lots of repetitive questions. So we're going to be able to build AI agents specifically for each of those that employees can use across the board. So let's jump in and we can give you a little taste of what this is going to look like. So this is the agent library screen. And you'll see at the top on the right, the good news is you can create your own agents for any of the use cases that you need within your organization. But we don't like to turn up to a party empty-handed, so what we've done is we've also created loads of these kind of typical use cases that you would see across the departments within your organization. So again, remember I talked about your finance teams, your procurement teams. They'll have repeatable questions that can be answered through an agent specific to your organization, and you can build those in line with that. Let's use an example. So let's jump into the IT help desk. So again, remember I talked about all that capability we had before, being able to have a secure place to upload all the documents that are specific to the IT team, because again, they're going to get questions that an AI agent should be able to answer. This is probably one they get on a very regular basis. When can I get a laptop upgrade? So an employee can come in, they can ask this question, and again, it's going to be referencing all of the integrations and documents that they have uploaded against that. Now, again, it's not just going to reference those. Remember, we talked about it before. It's also going to know who this person is. So it knows where they're based, how long they've been here for, when they're actually eligible for a laptop upgrade. So this is something that can be completely automated so the IT team can focus on being strategic themselves. Here's another example. All that wonderful coaching that we saw before, all of those different use cases around coaching you through conversations or scenarios, that can become a dedicated communication coach. Again, being able to upload in a secure way all of the documentation about the communication style within your organization and using that as a reference point so people can practice the communication that they have in real time. Or you can think of this, maybe there's a sales team. They've got all of their pitch decks that they want to go through. Imagine an AE or someone in the sales team being able to practice their pitch whenever they want to in real time and get feedback as and when they need to. We are very, very excited to see what you're all going to do with this when it gets released. And with that, for a final time, back to Sarah.
So I hope you see there that with Lattice AI, our focus is on the success of people first, and really how AI can give people those superpowers, whether it's managers, employees, whether it's your IT team, your finance team. This is a future that we want to build together, and we're really excited to do this together with you. This is how Lattice is here to help all of you succeed together. The thing is, people plus AI is important and purposeful. We see so much out there in the world today. You see leaders of these AI companies which are talking about what it could mean for our workforces. They are instilling a lot of fear and uncertainty and doubt. And this is very important that we have this purposefully having people plus AI together so that we can settle ourselves, not be paralyzed by fear, and move forward together. And this is the conversation that we want to continue. And this is why we're so lucky here today to have the working IT editor for Financial Times, Isabel Berwick. Please welcome up to the stage.